Anthrax, For All Kings. You can probably buy it somewhere, I don't know. Okay, so the new Anthrax album was released pretty recently. Okay, not that recently. Okay, if I get one comment saying I'm too late with this review, I'll fucking report you for abuse. Okay, so my main problem with this record is that all its reviews have been mainly positive. You can't have all positive reviews. Someone has to say that it's bad. And if no one else is gonna do it, god damn it, I'll do it myself. But first, a little backstory. So in 2011, Anthrax released their 10th album, Worship Music, that marked the comeback of their old singer, Joey Belladonna. Now, many consider this a rather positive change, since the era of Bush, much like the one of the president, didn't bring very much success. But god damn it, Scott Ian wasn't just gonna give up like that. He was determined. He was gonna make another comeback album. And boy did he do it! Okay, I mean, he didn't really do it. Okay, I don't think Worship Music was that great of a record, but I mean, goddamn, Scott Ian! Whoa! Good job, dude. I guess Worship Music was kind of an okay album considering the circumstances. And it was kind of a minor comeback. I mean, it had some good songs, mostly shit songs, but I mean, look at the positives. I mean, there were some good songs, like, remember, there were some good songs. Remember the good ones, yeah, remember the good ones. And I mean, already at that point, it had been 8 years since their last album, so people were questioning, are they even gonna make another one? People thought like, oh, this is the end, this is the best they'll ever do, this is the last one, okay? That's the last one, that's no more. But they were all wrong. And 5 years later, we have this. For All Kings. Hey, how about spicing up the cover art for once, huh? So before I go into actually saying something relevant about this record, I just want to talk a little bit more about Worship Music, and I want to compare it to this record. What actually made me respect Worship Music was the fact that Joey Belladonna was back, and everyone was expecting Anthrax to become the old Anthrax again. Because, obviously, Anthrax peaked when they were in the 80s and they were a thrash metal band. They were all going, make Anthrax great again, bring back Joey Belladonna, and now he's actually here, and yeah, he's doing good. But he's not the main factor of the band. The main factor is Scott Ian, of course, who writes all the songs. And the songs had already been written even before they knew Joey Belladonna was coming back. So it didn't get the classic Anthrax back. And did we actually want it back? I don't think so. You see, instead of trying to appeal to the old fans and like, hey, look, we're playing the same kind of music again, listen to us again, hey, come listen, hey. They just kept doing what they were interested in. And they actually managed to improve that way. Still a mediocre album, but now we're actually about to talk about the album that I mentioned in this video, which is For All Kings, Anthrax, For All Kings, baby! And you know how I mentioned, like, I respected their old album because it wasn't just like, oh, we're gonna play the same old riffs and the same old songs, and it's gonna be like old times. Well, on this record, they're kinda bringing it back to the old times, but not in a good way. You can kinda hear it on songs like You Gotta Believe and Evil Twin. It sounds like something off of State of Euphoria. But like I said, not in a good way. Just because something sounds like the old Anthrax, it doesn't mean that it's as good as the old Anthrax. You know what I'm saying? Like, Anthrax is sounding like they're trying to rip off Anthrax, which doesn't make sense, because they are Anthrax, and they don't need to, like, rip off themselves. I don't know what they're doing, man. And while Anthrax is not trying to rip off themselves, it feels like they're just simply making bad music. It feels like we're right back at the John Bush albums. And also I want to clarify that I don't think that John Bush was the reason that Anthrax were so bad in the 90s. I mainly think it's because of Scott Ian having a dip in creativity. Lately they've also been trying to write these more epic rock anthems, like examples from the last album is, of course, In the End and I'm Alive, songs like that. And I think they were done pretty well on worship music, actually. But it's gonna become very apparent when you're making bad, epic rock songs, because it won't have that epic feel to it. Yeah, so my thoughts on this album are mainly negative, so I'm gonna start with the positives.
Oh my god, Breathing Lightning is a song, man, oh my god, the best, this is the best good I've ever made!
Okay, so Breathing Lightning is the obvious exception from what I've said so far about this album. I think this is a really good song, and it can actually compete with the best songs from some of their old records. And the one big thing that this song has going for it is that it's surrounded by a lot of other worse songs. So Breathing Lightning may seem like the musical equivalent of Mona Lisa, when in reality it's just a good song. Now for the negatives. I've already said most of the general negative aspects of this record, but I will talk about some of the songs in specific, so you will get what I'm talking about. Now the opener, You Gotta Believe, only works because it is the opener. And it's just such a safe metal song that it can't fail, but at the same time it can't really make you, wow, whoa, it's Anthrax, man! Also, they lose all the momentum they build up in this track by going into like a boring instrumental jam with some guitar soloing, but it's like, you didn't have to do that. Now on Monster at the end you can actually hear Anthrax trying to do something, but in the end it's not a bad song, but it's not a good song either, and it doesn't do anything for me. It's like status quo basically.
For all kings committed, for all kings old and new.
And then we have For All Kings, which I think is the most pathetic song on the album, because like I talked about earlier, it's this attempt to make an epic song, and it's got this epic look and sound, but it doesn't actually contain anything remotely epic. And on Evil Twin we can actually hear some of the old Anthrax, like the ones from State of Euphoria or Persistence of Time. But it doesn't actually remind me of the good parts of those records, and if you remember well, you will know that those records weren't that great actually. Now, I wasn't around when those were released, but I know my Anthrax, guys. I am an Anthrax fan. And on Blood Eagle Wings, like, the song is boring as hell, but I want to talk about the music video. Because if you watched it, you know there's a lot of gore in it, and I just feel like that's not what Anthrax is about. Like making that kind of video is reserved for extreme death metal bands. And even then, I think it's just ridiculous, because, I mean, it's not cool. Like, I think these metal bands just think that these kind of videos are like really cool and it's got blood and guts and stuff, but I'm not impressed, okay? And enough talking about the music video already. And at this point you think to yourself like, okay, this record has been pretty mediocre so far. What's next? Another mediocre song. Haha! No. The last songs on the album is actually the ones that break the deal for me, and they're even worse than the ones that come before them. The special award for worst song goes to This Battle Shows Us. which is like this song is the equivalent of walking slowly to work. You know, you're walking slowly, it doesn't go very fast, and you're not excited about where you're gonna end up. Okay, so let's close this review. So the only good song from this record really is Breathing Lightning, and the rest kind of varies from mediocre to bad, and it feels like it just drags on for way too long. Like, this is over an hour in playtime, and yeah, it's just so boring to listen to this. And even then, I think this is not the worst that Anthrax have done. I think by Anthrax standard, this record is acceptable. But relative to music in general, I feel like this record is really bad. And I just wanted to be the guy to say that it's really bad. And you can comment if you disagree with me, and we can... maybe I won't reply to you, but like, at least you can say what you want, I can say what I want. And thanks for watching, everyone, if you actually watched this far. Good night, good day, and I'm out of here. 2 out of 10.